What if I told you that the sugar in your drink and the oxygen you breathe both hide a secret code? That code is their molecular formula, and today we're cracking it wide open. Molecular formula is a chemical formula that gives the total number of atoms of each element in a compound. To find the molecular formula, firstly, find the empirical formula of the compound. The empirical formula represents the simplest whole number ratio of atoms present in the compound. This is often obtained through experimental data or elemental analysis. Once we have the empirical formula, the next step is to calculate the empirical mass. To do this, we sum the atomic masses of all the atoms present in the empirical formula. After calculating the empirical mass, we move on to the third step, where we divide the molar mass of the substance by the empirical mass. This calculation gives us a value, represented by an figure. This value serves as the multiplier necessary to obtain the molecular formula from the empirical formula. Let's consider an example. A sample is analyzed and found to have an empirical formula CH2. It has a molar mass of 70 grams per mole. Find its molecular formula. We have the empirical formula, which is CH2. Next, we calculate the empirical mass. The empirical mass of CH2 is equal to atomic mass of carbon plus atomic mass of hydrogen. The atomic mass of carbon is 12, and the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 times 2, as there are 2 hydrogen atoms. Then the empirical mass of CH2 is 14 grams per mole. Then we find N. In this case, N is equal to the molar mass of CH2 over the empirical of CH2. The molar mass given is 70 grams per mole, and the empirical mass we calculated is 14 grams per mole. Then, N is equal to 5. Now, we have N as 5, which indicates that the molecular formula will be 5 times that of the empirical formula. Finally, we multiply with the empirical formula to derive the molecular formula of the compound. This final formula represents the actual number of each type of atom in a molecule. Molecular formula is equal to empirical formula times N. The empirical formula is CH2 and N is 5. Then the molecular formula is equal to C5H10. Pause for a moment. What do you think is the molecular formula of water? You might already know it, but can you explain how we derive it using the steps we just covered? Drop your answer in the comments. Another example. A compound of empirical formula P2O5 has a molar mass of 284 gram per mole. What is its molecular formula? The empirical formula is P2O5. The empirical mass of P2O5 is equal to the atomic mass of phosphorus plus atomic mass of oxygen. The atomic mass of phosphorus is 31 times 2, as there are 2 phosphorus atoms in the empirical formula. The atomic mass of oxygen is 16 times 5, as there are 5 oxygen atoms in the empirical formula. This gives 142 grams per mole. Next, we find N. N is equal to molar mass over empirical mass. The molar mass is 284. The empirical mass is 242. This gives 2. Finally, the molecular formula is equal to empirical formula times N. The empirical mass is P2O5 times 2. This gives P4O8. And this is the molecular formula. To recap, molecular formula is a chemical formula that gives the total number of atoms of each element in a compound. To find the molecular formula, find the empirical formula. Calculate the empirical mass. Divide the molar mass of a substance by the empirical mass to get N. Multiply N with the empirical formula. By following these systematic steps and understanding the underlying principles, you'll be equipped to confidently determine the molecular formula of any compound in your future studies. Now that you can decode molecular formulas like a pro, let's switch gears. In the next video, we'll explore how to find the empirical formula. Stay tuned. Stay curious.